Hello everybody, welcome to Destiny of Cards. Today we are doing a deck profile for Sickle deck, Royal Paladin Sickle deck. Yes, it's there's a minor update from the Fighter collection. So we will now move on to the deck build. First, we run 1 copies of Madu. Madu is from the new Fighter collection. So the effect is when this card is called the Vanguard Circle, if you have hearts that's 10,000 original power or less, you may choose 1 grid tree from your drop zone and add it to your hand. So when your Vanguard is in Legion, actually, you have this mate there. Your mate will be part of the hearts. Yes, so you don't have to choose him or her as your Vanguard hearts that to contribute to these strike units. So actually the mate is in the heart, so be it is most commonly most mate are in 9k original power, and some of the revival having a 10k. So it doesn't work for decks such as DOTX because both of them are 11,000. So long your mate is 10,000 or less, you can actually use this card in your deck and you can return 1 grid tree from the zone to your hand. Next, we run 1 copy of Gyron. Gyron's effect is when you call the Vanguard Circle, choose 1 card from your hand and call to the Rearguard Circle. And the second effect is choose 1 Rearguard and the unit plus 5,000. Do take note that you don't have to add 5,000 to that unit that is superior card, and vice versa, you don't need to call a Rearguard 2 plus 5,000. So yeah, so it's both effect. You have 2 effect when you call the Vanguard Circle. One is to call 1 card from your hand, the other is 5,000. Both can activate at the same time, or you can choose either one. Yeah, so it's something like Automel. Yeah. Next, we run 2 copies of Goblet. Goblet's effect is when this card attack hit the Vanguard, choose 1 grade 2 or higher cards from your deck, then superior call to the Rearguard Circle. Next, we run Saint Blow. 2 copies of Saint Blow. Saint Blow's effect is Persona Flip himself from your G zone. If the number of cards in face up in your G zone is 2 or more, you gain the effect. For each Rearguard on your field, you get 3,000 power. If the number of Rearguard on your field is 2 or more, you gain 1 crit. So it's a very pressure card. Next, we run from the Fighter collections 2 Religious Soul Savior. So the effect is Counterblast 1 and Persona Flip himself. Then you when this card is called the Vanguard Circle, pay the cost. If you have hearts with Blaster in its name, so when you're in Legion, you actually have this Blaster blade there. Yeah, so it's already fulfilled the requirement of having Blaster in your hearts. And like what I mentioned, you don't have to take them as your Legion, your strike contribution, because they will be in your hearts. Okay, so when you call the Vanguard Circle, pay the cost, and then you choose 3 Rearguard. They get 5,000 power each. And then furthermore, your other effect is you have 2 Blaster in your soul. You gain 1 critical. So remember, it's soul, it's not your hearts. So this is not MLB deck. This is a pure Sickle deck. So we'll actually explain how you actually gain the soul of having 2 to use this card in the deck. Now we move on to the grade 3. We run 4 copies of Sin Savior Dragon. Sin Savior Dragon is when this card is in Legion, after it attack, you may pay the cost, which is Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 3, and discard 2 cards from your hand. Then after that, you choose 1 Sin Savior from your deck, then superiorize it in stand position, and choose 1 Blaster Blade Sickle from your soul and perform Legion with it. So yeah, so this is what we call as Soulmate Legion. Next, the effect is when this card attacks the Vanguard, you gain 2,000. So it's a 22,000 attack goal if you are in Legion. Next, we run 2 copies of Alfred. Alfred's effect is when this card is in Legion, the continuous effect, for each Sickle unit on your field, excluding itself, you gain 1000 power. So your mate plus your rearguard, if they are in sickles, you actually let's say your full field of sickles when you are in Legion, you actually get 6000 power additional. So the thing is, you also get 1 critical if you have 5 rearguard on your fields. So the number of rearguard on your field that is 5. Don't need to be sickle. Yeah, it can be any rearguard. So long you have 5 units, you gain 1 critical. Next effect is the activate effect, which is you don't have to be in Legion to activate this effect, which is add special counterblast 2 sickle. Superior call 1 sickle from your deck and call to a rearguard circle. So anything, any grid. Lastly, next we have around 1 copies of Vanguard. Sickle Vanguard's effect is when you perform Legion, choose 1 sickle, grade 2 or higher, and then superior call it. Something like the strike, but this is just purely for sickle and upon performing Legion. Next, the effect is when this card attacks the Vanguard, you gain 2000. So it's a 13k attacker or 22,000 when it's in Legion. So one thing about the grade 3s is all these 3 units, they have a common mate, which is Buster Blade Sickle. Now we move on to the grade 2. We run 4 copies of Buster Blade Sickles. Buster Blade Sickles effect is when this card is called the Rearguard Circle. If you have a Sickle Vanguard, you may pay the cost. Counterblast 1, choose 1 opponent's grade 2 or higher unit and retire them. So it's you can kill out interceptor or attacking units with this card effect. Next, we run 3 copies of Cedric. Cedric is the 12k attacker for Sickle. So when your Vanguard is in Sickle's name, when this card attack, is a 12k attacker, so plus 3000. Next, we run 2 copies of Crossbow Gilles. Gilles effect is when you perform Legion, you may pay the cost. Counterblast 1, choose 1 Sickle from your deck and superior call it any grade. And next we run 1 copy of Buster Blade. This is how this deck actually goes. This deck runs on Bakao, so you can actually superior call this card to superior write it. So with this, and then after that you write a grade 3, any of the grade 3 perform Legion. Then later on you write another grade 3. That's how you gain your 2 blaster in the name in your soul. Yeah, so this is a good way to play the deck. Okay, Buster Blade's effect, sorry, forgot to explain. However, Buster Blade effect is when this card is called the Vanguard Circle, counterblast 2, retire any rearguard on your opponent's field. For the rearguard effect is when you call to rearguard circle, counterblast 2, choose 1 opponent grade 2 or higher and retire it. Something like Buster Blade Sickle, but it's a heavier cost. So we don't recommend you to use it because this deck is quite a heavy cost in counterblast. Next, we move on to the grade 1s. We run 4 copies of the Kanzen Unflippable for Rare Paladin. So for another copies of this card in the drop zone, you actually get the Unflip 1 damage when you call this card into the Guardian Circle. And this card, do take note, all the new Kanzen Unflippable can only protect your Vanguard. Next, we run 4 Strider. Okay, so the first effect, we don't actually have it in the deck, so we do not have run Automel, so actually it's quite redundant. So we only use this card for the second effect, which is the Strike plus 2. So it's a grade 3 while striding. Next, we run 2 copies of this card. Okay, this card's effect is when you call to Rearguard Circle, if the number of Seeker in its name in your front row is 3, you get to pay the cost, which is Soul Blast 2 and draw 1 card. So it's a light Rising Phoenix, but more tougher requirement, but you get to pay the same cost, which is Soul Blast 2. But your requirement here is you need to have front row with 3 Seeker. So it's quite easy. You can call this card in the front row. You have a Vanguard with Seeker, and you have a another unit in the front row with Seeker in its name. Call this card Soul Blast 2, you can draw 1 card. So it's quite easier for you. Or your Vanguard in Legion, call this card in the front row, then you also get to draw 1 card. So quite easy to use this effect. Next, we run 2 copies of this card. When you call to a Rearguard Circle, if your Vanguard is in Legion, you gain 4,000 power, so it's a 12k booster during the turn where it caught. Now we move on to the grade 0. We want this turtle. This turtle effect is move this card to soul, then choose one card from your hand and discard it. That's the cost. So after that, you draw one card. So it's pay the cost by dropping one card from your hand. You get to draw one card, and you gain one soul for free. Yes, you can use this effect early game, to prevent your opponent from bombing you. That's your choice, or you want to use it in late game, it's also your choice. So this card is quite flexible. Now we move on to the other grade 0. This is the restricted card that we mentioned earlier that let you superior call superior call 2 kind of cards. So the effect here is this card can is restricted due to restricted as a starting Vanguard. So you cannot use this card as a starter. So earlier on we already showed you what's the starter for this deck. This card is purely in the deck. So we run 4 copies of this card. The effect is you just rest this card. You may superior call one of the 2 cards here. One is Flogao, the other is Liu. Okay, so you can choose either one of them and superior call it. So it's quite a good filtering card, and it's quite easier to fulfill for Alfred effect of letting your Alfred to gain the critical. So this card can also help you superior right, because you get to superior call your Flogao, and then later on you can superior call the Liu, which is the mechanism to superior right your Buster Blade. Okay, now the trigger layout. We run 4 copies of the Seeker Heal trigger, 1 copy of the Seeker critical trigger. So this 5 cards is the only cards with Seeker in its name in the trigger zone. Okay, next we run those cards that is not in Seeker's name, which is 4 Magao. Magao's effect is move this card to the soul from your Vanguard circle, then choose one Royal Paladin unit and that unit plus 3,000. Next we run the 2 cards that for Bagao, which is 3 Stand Trigger, which is Flogao with a vanilla effect, and 4 copies of Liu. Future Knight's Liu effect is when this card is in the rearguard circle, you can color blast 1, move this card, Flogao and Bakao to your soul, then choose one Buster Blade from your deck, and then superior ride it. If your Vanguard is in grade 1, of course. So you cannot use this way if your Vanguard is in grade 0. Your Vanguard must be in grade 1. So must be a grade 1 Vanguard, superior ride your Buster Blade from your deck. So it's a very good superior ride. You can actually suffer your grade 2 in the deck. You don't need any grade 2. So long you only need Bakao in your hand, then you can start the magic going. So you can, after that you get superior ride grade 2. Then you gain a lot of soul in your soul actually, and then that's when this mechanism is for Sing Savior Dragon. The Sing Savior Dragon can actually stand 2 times. So 3 attack from Sing Savior Dragon if you use this method of superior riding. So actually this method actually let you to gain a lot of soul. You have a grade 1, you have Bakao, which is your grade 1 Bakao, Liu, Flogao, and that's how you gain all the souls. And then you put in your starter, you actually have 5 souls or more. You can actually let your Sin Savior attack 3 times, 2 from restanding, 1 from his original Legion time. So this is actually a very good rush for Sin Savior Dragon. So we do hope that you like the new deck profile, and do comment in the comment section below, and do subscribe to Destiny of Cards. Do stay tuned to our upcoming series that Destiny of Cards will be mentioning soon. Thank you.